#1 yellow car, ready to race in Portland. Here we go. And Dixon gets a nice jump on the inside of Rossi. They head towards you, PT.
I can see him coming now. Everybody's out on the inside. A couple cars go straight. Everybody's going off. Oh, cars spinning, cars wrecking everywhere. Oh my God, that was so intense.
Romain Grosjean, Will Power right in front of you. Oliver Askew was involved. Both Ganassi cars, Pelot and Dixon, missed the turn.
I think what happened is that Rosenqvist got into the back of Dixon just slightly, and that shot Dixon deep into the brake zone. The Ganassi cars had to run wide to avoid each other, but everybody now, Paul, trying to get restarted.
Yeah, it looked to me like it was the two Ganassi cars that caused the whole problem. They were both locked up and had to run straight, but it also took out Will Power, Grosjean. I think that's Jack Harvey right there. So, I mean, it was carnage everywhere. It was so intense. You could hear the smoke coming off the tires. You could smell it, the fuel. I get it now. I get it, what it's like to be a corner worker down here. It's insane.
Look at Jack Harvey, if that's who it is, in the 06. That's Castro Neves is high centered on the apex curve. That's going to be tough to get him going. Let's take another look here. Watch Rosenqvist, the third blue and orange car, coming up on Scott Dixon, who's behind Pelot. See that little tap right there? Rosenqvist hits Dixon. Dixon shoots up the inside of Pelot, and that's what forced Pelot wide. On board with Dixon.
Great grade.
They both knew they weren't going to make it. Dixon and Pelot. Alexander Rossi followed. Here it is from the front on. Look to the left. There's the contact that unsettled Dixon.
And Rosenqvist almost took out Pelot as well, avoiding the incident. It'll be interesting to see how IndyCar reorders the field here. There are timing loops.
2 on your left.
There goes Grosjean flying up the inside. And that is Callum Ilott, who collided there as well. And Helio Castro Neves in the middle of all that gets high centered. There goes Rosenqvist off to the right in the Views Chevy.
So generally speaking, the rule is, this was discussed in the drivers' meeting, the priority for the reorder for this exact situation is first the cars that took the racing line, second the cars that took the overshoot, and then third those in the incident. We'll have to figure out how IndyCar reorders it when we come back.
There's going to be some drivers who started further back, very pleased, because they will be in prioritized positions. Chaos in Portland, we knew it was coming. We got a good shot of the cars from above heading down into that treacherous turn 1, with thanks to our friends at Geico giving us these live aerial shots now, as well as the cars circulate Portland International Raceway under caution because of this multi-car collision, turn 1, lap 1. Talk us through the rules, T-Bell.
Yeah, IndyCar was quite clear, anticipating a potential problem like this at the start. Cars not involved in the incident registered at timing lines I2 and I2. That basically means cars that went through the normal racetrack line have the priority for field reordering. Cars not involved in any incident, but those that bypassed the chicane, have second priority. Any cars involved in the incident, regardless of fault, are third priority. I think what that means is that you're going to see Pato O'Ward and Graham Rahal at the front. Let's look at a replay. Aerial here, you see the 3, actually 4. There's Rosenqvist, 2 Ganassi cars, and Alexander Rossi, all taking the bypass. The incident is happening right here. Other cars back here also take the bypass, but these cars that made the racetrack, not part of the incident, take priority. That's Pato O'Ward, Graham Rahal, and I think Ed Jones that you're going to see there as well. So big break for those guys. Now, this is how IndyCar figures it out. There are timing loops. There are wires underneath the racing surface that trigger the transponder. This, if you trigger this one and this one, I2A and I2, that determines you are on the regular racing track. If you trigger SC1 right here, you are second priority. That's how IndyCar figures it out. It's not subjective. It goes to a digital system.
So it's going to be good for people like Ed Jones. It's going to be good for people like Scott McLaughlin. It's also going to be good for Marcus Ericsson. This is the repair going on the Verizon Chevy Kev of Will Power.
And I heard under tray and wing damage, so that's what they're going to work on. The first report was we don't think it's too bad, but obviously they need to do some work on the 12, and luckily for them, they could do it under caution and stay on the lead lap.
It's very reminiscent of 2 years ago, where there was a multi-car, 5 or 6 car pile-up, lap 1, turn 1. Field needed to be reordered. Damage to James Hinchcliffe's Capstone Honda at Andretti Autosport. Repairs going on there. There's repairs going on everywhere. Callum Eilert of Junkos Hollinger Racing, he was involved in it. So many. Elio Castro Neves of Maya Shank. And Romain Grosjean, who went flying down the inside, he was part of it as well. He hasn't had a very happy weekend this weekend, the Frenchman. He's not really taken to Portland International Raceway all that well, doesn't particularly enjoy it, and now that adds insult to injury. So, race controllers looked at the incident, no action taken. Reorder the field and get going shortly. Grand Prix of Portland here on NBC, still under caution as the repairs happen and the field being reorganized. We're going to head down to the pits with Kelly Stavist after a ride with Mario Andretti at Andretti Autosport, but it's not such a fun story for James Hinchcliffe, Cal.
No, nothing funny about it, but you almost just have to laugh, James Hinchcliffe, at the luck that you have had here. 3 races in a row, turn 1, lap 1, and essentially your race ends. What happened this time?
Yeah, I mean, it's comical at this point. It's so sad. But yeah, I mean, you watch a replay. Romain wasn't going to make the corner no matter what. I don't know why he decided to brake so late, starting where we were with a 110 lap race. I'm sure he's just as upset as everybody else. I mean, it's an easy mistake to make, but I just can't believe we keep being on the receiving end of this stuff, you know. And pretty big damage to the car. The guys are doing a great job now trying to get it back out there, but you know, we nearly got in the back of board A. I avoided getting in contact there, and then we just got absolutely clobbered, and it's just so frustrating. It's so disappointing. The Capstone car was actually, you know, I think really suited for this cooler conditions compared to yesterday afternoon, and it would have been fun to see what we could do, but now we're just kind of on the sidelines watching.
Thank you, Hinch.
Kelly, meanwhile, there's a lot of conversation on the radios about what happened, who was at fault, who might not be at fault. Let's listen in to some Arrow McLaren 7 radio just a few minutes ago.
You did a really good job there not hitting the championship contenders. I think IndyCar appreciates that. Your old teammates appreciate that. You did what you had to do there. It was just no other way for me to go there.
That's Craig Hampson talking with Felix Rosenquist, his calling strategy for the Never 7. By the way, I just checked in with Mike Hull of Chip Ganassi Racing. Felix's former teammate, Scott Dixon, they don't think he